Congratulations. God chose you to hear this message before 20 November. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine appointment. There are moments in life when heaven taps your shoulder and whispers, "This one is for you." And this message is one of those moments. You have been walking through challenges, carrying silent battles, and facing situations that looked bigger than your strength. But God has seen every tear, every effort, every prayer, every sacrifice. And He brings this message to you as a sign that your season is about to shift. Before 20 November, God is preparing something that has your name on it. You didn't come across this message randomly. You were led. God is positioning you for breakthroughs you didn't even ask for. There are blessings being arranged behind the scenes, answers being prepared, and doors being unlocked. Where you felt stuck, you will move. Where you felt delayed, you will advance. Where you felt ignored, you will be remembered. God is saying, I have heard your prayers, I have seen your faithfulness, and I have chosen this moment to speak into your life. Before 20 November, something significant is going to shift in your spirit. You will feel strength returning, hope rising, and clarity coming into your life. The confusion that tried to overwhelm you is breaking. The heaviness that sat on your heart is lifting. The enemy tried to distract you, tried to discourage you, tried to convince you that nothing will change. But God is saying, watch what I do next. He's removing obstacles, softening hearts, and aligning situations that were once out of your control. Congratulations, because you are stepping into a new chapter. Not because of luck, not because of chance, but because of divine favor. God is calling you into a season of restoration, where you will recover what was lost, regain what was stolen, and receive what was delayed. Before 20 November, expect unexpected favor. Expect supernatural help. Expect the right people to appear, the right opportunities to open, and the right answers to reach you. When God chooses a moment to speak into a person's life, it never happens by chance. There are countless voices, countless distractions, countless paths a person could take on any given day. Yet somehow, some way, you found yourself here, reading or listening to this message. That alone is a sign that something bigger than your own decision making brought you to this moment. You are divinely chosen to hear this message. And that truth carries a weight of purpose attached to it. God does not waste moments, and He does not send a word unless there is something within your spirit that needs to be awakened, strengthened, healed, or elevated. When you are chosen by God to receive a message, it means He has already seen what you are facing, what you are feeling, and what you are silently fighting. There are times in life when we walk through seasons feeling unseen or unheard, when our prayers seem to float in the air without answers, and when our heart grows tired from waiting. But even in those moments, God watches closely. He listens to every whisper, understands every burden, and counts every struggle. And when the timing aligns with His divine plan, He sends a word that arrives exactly when you need it most. This message is not an emotional coincidence or an inspiring moment randomly delivered. It is a confirmation that heaven knows your name, your journey, your tears, and your future. Being chosen by God means that what is coming toward you is greater than what has been behind you. There are people who scroll past messages like this without a second thought, not because they are bad, but because the message wasn't meant for them. But you paused, you focused, you received it. That's because your spirit recognized its timing. God only reveals things when the heart is ready to hear them. He chooses individuals at specific moments to receive certain truths that prepare them for the next phase of their life. You are in that phase now. You are standing in a spiritual doorway, and this message is one of the signs that God is guiding you into something new, something necessary, and something intentionally crafted for your growth. Being chosen by God doesn't mean life becomes instantly easy. It means that despite the weight you carry, God trusts you with the process required for your destiny. It means that every trial you face was shaping you, not breaking you. It means that heaven has taken notice of your endurance, your patience, your quiet resilience, and your faith, especially the faith you held on to even when your circumstances didn't make sense. God chose you to hear this message because your breakthrough is closer than you realize. And He wants you to walk into the coming days with awareness, preparation, and spiritual strength. Before great change happens, God often sends a signal, a word, a moment, a reminder that something is shifting. This message is that signal for you. You may have questioned your path, doubted your progress, or felt like nothing was moving, but God has seen your steps, even the small ones others overlooked. He chose you today to remind you that you are not behind, not forgotten, not lost, and not alone. Your journey is unfolding exactly as it should, under His timing and His protection. You are divinely chosen to hear this message because God wants you to walk into your next chapter with confidence, faith, and expectation. This moment is sacred. This word is precise. And the fact that it reached you is proof that God is working in your life in ways far deeper than you can currently see. Before 20 November, something significant is being prepared for you, even in ways you cannot yet see. God often works in the unseen long before anything becomes visible in your daily life. Just because your circumstances look the same on the outside does not mean nothing is happening behind the scenes. Sometimes God does His greatest work in silence, shaping outcomes, shifting hearts, arranging opportunities, and aligning events that will eventually unfold in your favor. This message carries the assurance that your prayers have not been ignored and your waiting has not been wasted. Every step you have taken, every effort you have made, and every moment you refuse to give up has contributed to what is now being prepared for you. There are breakthroughs that God releases only when the time is right. Not earlier, not later, but right on time. And the time surrounding this season, especially before 20 November, carries a divine significance for you. Situations that felt stagnant are going to move. Areas of your life that felt impossible are going to open. Things you prayed for months or even years ago are resurfacing because God has declared that now is the moment for them to manifest. What you thought was a delay was actually God protecting you, positioning you, and preparing you for something better than what you initially wanted. Behind the scenes, God is speaking to the right people about you. He is placing your name in rooms you have not entered yet, and in conversations you are unaware of. He is clearing paths that were once blocked. He's removing individuals who would have harmed your destiny, and bringing in those who will support, uplift, and guide you. God works with precision. Nothing He does is random. If He says something is being prepared, it means the foundation is already complete, and the next step is manifestation. Your breakthrough is not a distant dream. It is already in motion. Before 20 November, expect unexpected favor. Not the kind of favor that looks like a small improvement, but the type that changes your direction, elevates your position, or answers a long-standing prayer. Expect moments where things suddenly make sense, where opportunities appear out of nowhere, where clarity replaces confusion. What you thought was the end of the road will turn into a new beginning. What you believed was a setback will reveal itself as a setup. God specializes in turning the ordinary into extraordinary. And you are entering a season where His power will become undeniable in your life. You may not understand every step, and you may still feel tension, uncertainty, or emotional heaviness. But even that is part of the preparation. Sometimes God allows pressure because pressure produces strength. Sometimes He allows silence because silence develops trust. Sometimes He allows waiting because waiting matures your faith. Everything you have experienced recently, both the comfort and the discomfort, has purpose. Nothing is wasted when God is involved. As this season unfolds, keep your eyes open for small signs. Breakthrough often begins with subtle shifts, a conversation, an opportunity, a message, a sudden idea, or even a sense of peace can be the start of the change God is bringing. Do not underestimate what looks small, because God often wraps big miracles in simple beginnings. The key is to stay expectant, stay faithful, and stay aligned with what God is doing. Before 20 November, the unseen will begin to take shape in the visible. The spiritual work that has been happening behind closed doors will finally reach your life in ways you can touch, feel, and recognize. You are not stepping into this season alone. God is walking ahead of you, guiding you toward the very things He has prepared. This is your confirmation that something powerful is on its way. The shift that is coming into your life is not just an external change. It begins deeply within your spirit. Before anything happens around you, transformation starts inside you. The confusion that tried to overwhelm you is beginning to loosen its grip, and the heaviness that covered your heart is being lifted layer by layer. You may not realize it fully yet, but your spirit is being strengthened for the season ahead. God never allows a person to stay in a place of emotional fog forever. There comes a moment when clarity breaks through, and you suddenly understand why certain things happen, why certain people left, why certain doors closed, and why certain situations didn't work out. That moment of clarity is coming. You are entering a phase where the things that once made you feel lost will begin to make sense. Sometimes the enemy's strongest tactic is confusion, because confusion drains your hope, weakens your confidence, and makes you question your worth. But God is reversing that. He is removing the voice of doubt, silencing the voice of fear, and restoring your sense of direction. What looked like a season of chaos will reveal itself as a season of preparation. You are not being torn apart, you are being rebuilt. The weight you have carried internally, the unspoken worries, the suppressed emotions, the silent battles is beginning to lift. God is touching your mind, calming your heart, and renewing your strength in ways you may not fully understand, but can already feel. Strength is returning to you, not because life suddenly got easier, but because God is breathing fresh endurance into your spirit. You are beginning to feel a shift, a slight rise of hope, a small spark of confidence, a quiet reminder that things will not always stay this way. These are signs that God is preparing you for breakthrough. When God strengthens you internally, it is because He's getting ready to do something externally. The spiritual foundation is always laid before the physical blessing arrives. You may have been in a period where nothing felt stable, where your thoughts were scattered, where your emotions were unpredictable, and where your heart felt fragile. But this instability is being replaced with divine order. God is organizing your life from the inside out. Ideas will begin to flow again. Motivation will return. Peace will visit you more frequently. Even your sleep will become deeper. Your decisions clearer, and your spirit more grounded. These small changes are not random. They are spiritual indicators that your life is shifting into a new and better direction. The season of heaviness was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you. You learned resilience, patience, and wisdom through that weight. You learned how to survive storms that many people never knew you faced. But now, the storm is passing. The clouds are thinning. Light is beginning to break through. The emotional pressure you felt recently was a sign that something new was being birthed within you. The shift in your spirit is the first evidence that your breakthrough is not far away. God is restoring your inner balance. He is giving you the strength to move forward without fear. He is giving you the clarity to see possibilities instead of problems. He is giving you the spiritual maturity to recognize which paths lead to peace and which paths lead to confusion. You are entering a period where your intuition becomes sharper, your judgment becomes wiser, and your soul becomes more stable. What once made you anxious will no longer control you. What once made you uncertain will no longer intimidate you. The confusion that tried to paralyze you is being replaced with divine clarity and the heaviness that weighed. you down is being exchanged for supernatural strength. This inner transformation is proof that God is preparing you for something greater than anything you have experienced before. There are seasons in life when it feels as if everything you once held on to slipped through your fingers. Opportunities faded, relationships changed, resources dried up, and plans you trusted suddenly fell apart. You may have believed that what was lost would never return, that what was taken could never be restored, and that what was delayed had no purpose. But God never allows loss without preparing recovery. He never closes a door without planning a better one to open. And He never allows a delay unless He intends to bring something greater than what you were waiting for. You are entering a season where restoration becomes your portion, and the things you thought were gone forever begin to return in unexpected ways. Restoration from God is not a simple replacement. It is a divine rebuilding that comes back stronger, fuller, and more meaningful than before. When God restores, He multiplies. He brings increase, improvement, and elevation. What was taken from you emotionally, spiritually, financially, or relationally did not disappear without purpose. God saw every moment of loss, every disappointment, every setback, and every tear. And now He is turning those moments into the foundation for a greater blessing. You will not just recover, you will rise. There are opportunities that you thought you missed, but God is preparing new opportunities that fit your current growth. There were relationships that broke your heart, but God is sending the kind of people who recognize your value and treat you with honor. There were doors that refused to open, but God is carving out new paths that no one can block. He is rearranging your life in a way that aligns with your destiny, not your past. The places where you felt most weak will become the places where God displays His strength. The delays you experienced were not denials, they were protection. Sometimes God delays something because the timing wasn't right, the people involved weren't right, or the situation would have caused unnecessary pain. What felt like a painful pause was actually God reshaping the future. He was preparing you to receive something that you can now handle with wisdom, strength, and maturity. The blessings that are coming will not slip away the way others did, because you are walking into them with a renewed spirit and a clearer mind. Increase is coming in areas where you experienced lack. You will see growth in places where everything once felt dry. Resources will begin to flow again. Ideas will return. Motivation will rise. God is restoring your confidence and reminding you that your story is not defined by loss, but by the comeback He is creating. You will look back on this season and realize that what felt like the end was simply the setup for a greater beginning. Elevation is part of this restoration. God is not just bringing things back, He is lifting you higher. He is positioning you in places you never imagined, connecting you with people you never expected, and opening doors that once seemed unreachable. Your name will be mentioned in rooms you have never entered. Your gifts will find visibility. Your effort will be recognized. God is aligning blessings with your identity, not your insecurity. You may have walked through seasons where you felt overlooked or undervalued. But now you are stepping into a time where God is bringing attention to what you carry. He is revealing your strength, your purpose, and your calling. The world will begin to see what God has seen in you all along. This restoration is not something you need to chase. It is something God is placing in your path. All you need to do is remain faithful, stay open, and keep trusting. What is coming has been prepared with precision. You are stepping into a season of divine recovery, supernatural increase, and undeniable elevation. The losses of yesterday will soon become the testimonies of tomorrow. When God chooses someone for a specific purpose, He does not look at what the world sees. He does not choose based on perfection, qualifications, or outward strength. Instead, He looks at the heart, your sincerity, your resilience, your willingness to believe even when life becomes difficult, You may not feel worthy of what God is preparing, but worthiness was never the requirement. God qualifies those He calls, and He equips those He chooses. You have been walking through a journey that has shaped you in ways you did not even realize. And every experience, good or painful, has contributed to your spiritual readiness for the season you are stepping into now. There were moments in your life when you questioned your ability, your strength, and even your value. You looked at your limitations and wondered if they disqualified you from blessing or breakthrough. But God sees beyond limitations. He sees potential where you see weakness. He sees purpose where you see mistakes. He sees destiny where you see confusion. Being chosen by God doesn't mean you are flawless. It means you are positioned. He has placed you exactly where you need to be, and He is preparing you for what you once thought was out of reach. You may have felt unprepared for what is coming, but God has been quietly equipping you behind the scenes. Every lesson, every challenge, every waiting period has been training your spirit. He has strengthened your character, widened your understanding, and deepened your compassion so that when your breakthrough arrives, you will be able to carry it with wisdom and maturity. You are not the same person you were months ago. You have grown through battles others never knew you were fighting, and that growth is part of why God has chosen this moment to elevate you. Sometimes God hides you in certain seasons, not to punish you, but to prepare you. He allows you to walk through situations that develop endurance and faith. He lets you face storms that teach you how to stand firm. He places you in environments that stretch you so you learn how to depend on Him instead of your own ability. Those moments of struggle were not signs of rejection, they were signs of preparation. God was shaping you into someone who could handle the blessings He is now ready to release. Many times people disqualify themselves before God ever does. You tell yourself you are not ready, not strong enough, not spiritual enough. But God sees you differently. He sees someone who has survived every trial. Someone who kept going when quitting would have been easier. Someone who believed even when the evidence didn't support the belief. That kind of heart is exactly what God chooses to use. As this new season approaches, remind yourself that God doesn't make mistakes in His decisions. If He has chosen you for a blessing, a breakthrough, a new beginning, or a new opportunity, then it means you are already prepared, even if your mind hasn't caught up with your spirit yet. Trust that God knows what He is doing. He knows your strengths. He knows your weaknesses. And still, He chose you. What is coming into your life is not based on your perfection, but on God's purpose. It's not about what you lack. It's about what God has placed inside you. He sees courage in you. He sees value in you. He sees potential in you. And that is why this moment is yours. You may have doubts, but God has none. You may have fears, but God has confidence in you. You may feel unsure, but God is certain about the calling He has placed over your life. You are chosen, equipped and ready, far more than you realize. God is about to reveal why He never let you give up and why He guided you through every challenge. Your preparation is complete and your moment is near. You are approaching a chapter of your life where everything that once felt impossible will begin to unfold with surprising ease. The struggles that weighed you down, the questions that lingered in your heart, and the uncertainty that clouded your path are all leading toward a moment of transformation. Your story is shifting from waiting to receiving, from worrying to witnessing, from hoping to experiencing. What is ahead of you is not just a small improvement or a temporary relief. It is a breakthrough that has been forming through every season you endured. Even when you felt forgotten, God was writing details into your future that are now ready to be revealed. There is a powerful shift that happens when God decides it is time. Suddenly, things that were stagnant start moving. Doors that were locked begin to open. Opportunities you never imagined begin to find you. The internal battles you fought in silence begin to quiet down, making space for peace and clarity. The impossible becomes possible not because your circumstances changed, but because God commanded the change. You are entering a moment where your "when will it happen" turns into, "It finally happened for me." Throughout your life, you have carried silent hopes, dreams you didn't always talk about, desires you tucked away in your heart because you weren't sure how or when they would come to pass. But God heard every unspoken prayer. He saw every small step of faith, every moment you chose to hold on, and every time you trusted even when you didn't understand. Your perseverance has not gone unnoticed. God is honoring your endurance by turning your private prayers into public blessings. Your breakthrough will not be something you have to force or chase. It will come naturally, flowing into your life with grace. What is coming will feel tailor-made, designed specifically for your growth, your healing, and your future. God is aligning events, organizing timing, and preparing circumstances in a way that will make you look back and understand why things had to happen the way they did. The pieces are coming together in ways that will leave you amazed at how intentional God has been with your journey. There is also a shift happening in your identity. You are no longer the person who doubts their ability, questions their worth, or fears their future. You are becoming someone who walks with confidence, someone who trusts in divine timing, someone who understands that their story has purpose. God is giving you strength to step boldly into this new chapter. You will move with clarity, make decisions with wisdom, and carry yourself with the assurance that what is meant for you cannot be taken from you. This upcoming season carries a promise. The things that once hurt you will no longer have power over you. The people who once doubted you will witness your rise. The prayers you thought were delayed will arrive at the perfect time. And the blessings that are coming will not slip away. They will stay, grow, and multiply. This breakthrough is not temporary. It is a foundation for the next level of your life. Your story is shifting into a chapter filled with victory, abundance, and divine favor. You will experience moments that remind you of God's faithfulness in the most unexpected ways. You will speak words of gratitude you once wished you could say. You will walk into opportunities that prove nothing is impossible when God is involved. What is coming is greater than what you are leaving behind. You are stepping into a season where the supernatural becomes visible, where blessings come without struggle, and where your life begins to reflect the goodness you have always believed God was capable of giving. Your breakthrough is not far, it is already on the way.